Good morning, everyone. We made it to the end of January. Well, the 29th of January. I don't like January. It's a horrible, cold, long month. No, I don't like January at all. I'm actually filming this on the 24th, so that's Tuesday, because you know me, little miss organised. I like to be organised. And I'll give you a wee heads up before we start. This could go into a long video. I'm not sure. I'm just going to play it by ear, but it could go into a long video. If you're new to the channel, you will get used to me talking about other stuff other than poetry, and in the about section on YouTube it does say that, you know, I do like to muse as well, and I think it's good to get to know the person behind the poetry as well. So I've called this video price tag, and why I called it price tag was because obviously you will have seen the videos and the shorts that I posted while I was in Paris, and I was having a nice time, and I did have a nice time. I did really have a nice time. I'll go to Paris after. You know, as I say, this could be a long video, but the harsh realities of travelling for me are that when I come home, I pay the price in terms of how my body reacts to the travelling, I'm afraid. I didn't think that it would be so bad this time, because Paris is only like an hour and a half flight, so I really didn't think I would suffer that much this time. But yeah, I have, and it's as I always say, it's not so much the actual flying part, it's the getting to the airport, and it's all the bits in between, and for me it's exhausting, and then it's the coming home and having no food in the house, and genuinely just trying to get back to normal, or what passes for normal round here. Normal's just a notch on the washing machine round here, I'm afraid. Travelling just absolutely whacks me. It just absolutely whacks me completely, and that is the harsh realities of chronic fatigue, I'm afraid. If you don't know what chronic fatigue is, or you've never heard of chronic fatigue, I do advise you, if you're interested, to go on to Google, and you know, you will be able to see how chronic fatigue affects somebody. What happens with chronic fatigue is that any exertion that is without normal routine, you will get what's called post-exertional malaise, and that's what it's called, or a crash. I call it a crash, and that's what happens with chronic fatigue. You get a crash, and that's what happens. So yeah, but I was going to try. I was really not feeling at all well last night, and I started making a podcast, and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to make the podcast, because I never want pity. I never ever want pity. That is one thing I don't want, but I just want people to have a greater understanding of an illness which is very unpredictable and also very, very debilitating. Very, very debilitating. So yeah, I'm nearly there. I went out and got groceries yesterday. I've done 3 lots of washing. So yeah, I'm nearly there. But that is a price tag. That is a price tag, I'm afraid. So yeah, Paris was lovely. It did end on a really good one on the Friday. That was the last video that I posted where I was a bit annoyed. The Friday was actually really, really good. It ended on a good one. And as much as you plan ahead, which again, I have to plan in ahead. That's the first boo-boo. I have to plan ahead. I have to plan like an expedition because I've got a health condition. You can plan as best you want, but things will always, go, tits up, I'm afraid. They will, and things, unforeseen things that you just can't predict will happen. But yeah, Friday was lovely. Went to the catacombs. You will have seen the short that I posted about the catacombs. The last time I was in Paris, the catacombs were on strike. They say that it's cold in the catacombs. I didn't find it cold. I found it a bit claustrophobic. But my overwhelming feeling in the catacombs was one of great sadness. Great sadness. Yeah, I didn't take the audio guide for the catacombs, so I bought a book on the way out. But the catacombs happened in the 18th century because they decided to close all the cemeteries. That is how the catacombs is there, and it's just so sad, absolutely so sad. And after the catacombs, I managed to find one charity shop. I didn't buy anything. In fact, I didn't. I was really disappointed. In my charity shop, we steam. We have like a steaming machine, and we steam everything before it goes out. Every single thing in that charity shop was crushed. Every single thing. And there was nothing, there was nothing that outstanding. So yeah, I didn't buy anything. And then on the way back on the metro, or when I got back to the hotel, I looked at my phone and seen that there was a link to my photographs. So I did actually get the photographs, all the photographs that were taken at the Louvre. So yeah, it did all. Sorry, I need to blow my nose because it's about 4 degrees here today. Yeah, it did end on a good one. So, in terms of my poetry, I was writing quite a lot when I was in Paris. I do still have my Twitter account, but I put a a kind of like a thing on Twitter saying that I'm not going to be so active. I realise now that I'm trying to spread myself too thin, and I can't do it. I can't give each platform the attention that it needs, and I think I was trying to spread myself so thinly in a vain attempt of trying to sell my books. So that's what I was trying to do, and I can't do it. I really can't do it. And so my Twitter account is still there, but I won't be as active. I will be once in a blue moon on there. The podcast is still there. I might do away with the podcast because nobody is listening to the podcast. The only podcast that is getting a hit, and I keep saying this, is the podcast where I read a very empowering poem from my latest book, which was called Rise Again. I've had nearly 200 hits on that, and I don't understand, if you want to listen to my poetry or you like my poetry, why you would only want to listen to that one poem, because I have read out other poems on the podcast, so I might scrap the podcast as well. I'm keeping the blog will stay as it is, and my two main platforms really are Instagram and my blog. I do post on Facebook. I don't get a lot of interaction on Facebook, but it is there, and I also post on Pinterest because I like to vary how I promote my work. I like to make shorts, I like to speak as I'm speaking now, and I like to not spice it up, but I like to vary it, the way that I promote my words. So today, I know it is a long video, and if you did turn off halfway through, you did, well, that's it. 4 poems I'm going to read today. I think that there is only one of these poems that has not appeared somewhere or anywhere, and it is a poem that I wrote about having chronic fatigue. The rest have appeared, so if you have seen them somewhere, I do apologise, but this is just me, as I say, trying to get back into the groove after being away. So this poem is called January, and I just think January is just a horrible, long, hard, cold month. But there could be a few of you that haven't heard it because, as I say, not everybody's on social media, so, you might not have heard it. January is a bitch, a cold, hard month with the itch and scratch of harsh winter winds. As we wait for her to rescind, we cling to the hope of spring, patiently biding our time until its arrival. But meanwhile we must endure the sting of our bleak landscape as we struggle for survival. This one, I think I posted this one on my blog, And again, I say, if you want to follow me on my blog, because I really do, this is what I'm aiming for this year. I'm not bringing out any books this year. I need organic followers. What I need is organic followers, not just fellow writers and poets. I do really need organic followers. That's what I'm looking for, and that is what I need to work on, is the SEO, the getting Joe Blogs to sit up and take notice of my poetry. So yeah, this poem is called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And before I went to Paris, everybody was saying, "Oh, Maggie, you're so brave, you're so brave. I'll let you into a secret." I'm not brave. I'm not brave at all. My father was brave, and you'll know the story if you've been here for a wee while, how my father was, in the Russian convoys during World War II, the Baltic run. I'm not brave. I'm not brave at all, but I do it, because if you don't do it, fear is an emotion, but the thoughts are created by you. Anything to do with mental health, you create your own reality, you create your own thoughts, and that is half the battle with anything to do with mental health, is the realisation that it's you that's creating the thoughts, not anybody else. What you're feeling isn't real. I'm not an expert on mental health, believe me. I've been as low as you can go and ready to jump off a cliff. I know all about mental health, but yeah, you create these thoughts, and you get into a cycle, and it's a very hard cycle to break, I'm afraid. But feel the fear. Wheels turn, we accelerate then burn. Learn to control your emotions. Let them hover, then pass by. You will not lose control or die. Our subconscious mind wants to fight or flee, and then we panic, losing sight, as if we are blind. Our body has released an adrenaline shock to the brain. Anxiety plays tricks, so we stick with the old and mundane. But my motto is, feel the fear and do it anyway. In fact, there is actually a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I called this poem In Between, and this is a poem about myself having chronic fatigue. In between you and me, there is a world no one sees, my daily battle with chronic fatigue. You see me walk out the door and think there is nothing wrong with her. If only you knew, but you have no clue. In between what you see and me is an illness that fluctuates like the weather. But to be honest, I don't care whether you believe me or not. Try walking a day in my sandals and you will see. It may be invisible to you, but it is real to me. All you see is a bit in between. And the very last poem is called Detachment. Don't expect too much. Detach the outcome. Nothing is permanent, not even you or I. Attachment leads to disappointment or a sad goodbye. Everything changes with time, and then it eventually dies. Detach yourself like a cloud floating in the sky. Don't cling to the edge. We all fall sometimes, but the view is even more beautiful when we rise. So that's the video for this month of January, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too long-winded for you, and if you did tune in, as always, thanks for tuning in. Thanks very much to the new subscribers that have joined me while I was in Paris. Everybody that listens and tunes in, I am immensely grateful. I think I'm correct in saying that February, the last Sunday, is the 26th. February is a really short month. So until February, unless I decide to post some shorts, take good care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.